Okay, so this portion of the blood pressure instruction is now how to take the blood pressure with the scope. So from earlier in the video, we said that we were going to apply the cuff about 2 fingers width above the crease of the arm, which is, there's the crease there. So we're gonna do the same thing, 2 fingers width. This is her right arm. So if this is where the brachial artery is, the arrow next to the right arm is going to be in line with where that brachial artery was. It's basically right in the middle of the bicep or of the upper arm. We're going to pull it really tight. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to tuck this underneath the dial. And now we have her arm prepared to take the blood pressure. So the next thing what we're gonna do is you're gonna make sure that you put the scope in your ears, tap it lightly, so you'll hear a thunk, thunk, thunk. If you tap it and you don't hear that thunk, 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 then that just means that it's not turned correctly, right? So that's not, so I turn it. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take her right arm. I'm going to place it underneath, in between my right arm and the side of my right torso, right side of my torso. And I'm going to kind of pin her arm in there like so. So I still have both hands available. This hand is going to come around, this arm's going to come around, it's going to wrap around her arm. So it's basically going to hold her arm. I'm holding her arm with my arm. I still have my hands available. So this is for pumping up the cuff. Okay, so I still have my left hand free. So now what I'm going to do is I'm ready to go. I take the scope with my left hand. I'm going to place it. I'm going to kind of tuck it right underneath the cuff. And I'm going to place it above the crease of her elbow. So it's underneath the cuff, in between the cuff and her arm. Now, I'm going to take the pump with I can use my left hand or my right hand. And I said earlier, there's a hole. I need to cover the hole as much as possible, and it covers it enough to where it won't let the air out. I open it up, it lets the air out. I close it, it doesn't let the air out. So I'm gonna make sure that I use my right hand only. I'm not gonna use my left hand because my left hand has to keep the scope on to close the hole, to cover it. So I still have my right hand to pump and I have my left hand to hold. So right hand pumps, left hand holds. Now, as I pump, so we're gonna go to 180. For most people, adults, we usually go to like 180 because the blood pressure readings like 140 over 80, it could be 160 over 100, it could be 180. So we want to go a little higher than what we think. For younger people, it probably is safe to go like to 160, but we're just going to go to 180 to start. So I'm going to pump it up to 180, but when I do that, I'm going to slowly let the dial, like you guys practiced before, I'm going to slowly open it up so it slowly decreases. Once I hear the top number and the bottom number, because the top number is the systolic, I'm listening for the top number to start. I'm listening for a boom, 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 boom. When I go to 180, so I close the dial, I pump it up to 180. I don't hear any noise. I'm listening for the heartbeat. I don't hear any noise at 180, down to 170, down to 160, down to 150, down to 140. I start hearing a pulse. Ba-boom, ba-boom. I keep listening for that pulse. It's going to keep going. 120, 110, ba-boom, ba-boom, all the way to 100, ba-boom. I still hear the pulse at 90. I hear the pulse at 80. At like 70, I stop hearing it. Even at like 80, it might go faint. At 70, I stop hearing it. That's my bottom number. Once I get to 70 and I stop hearing it and it goes down to like 60, I still don't hear it. You can undo the dial and open up the dial and let the gauge go all the way down to 0. The top number is when you start hearing it. The bottom number you register is when you stop hearing it. So again, if I started hearing it at 140 and I heard it all the way to 70 and I stopped hearing it at 70, that's my bottom number. Okay, so let's go through it. So I close the dial. And I'm going to open it up a little bit. Now, it's a little bit too fast, so I can close it down a little bit too, so it's a little... You may even start to see it jump a little bit. So I started hearing at 120, stopped hearing at 80. It even stopped jumping. So now at like 60, I'm just going to open it up all the way, let it go down to 0.